Okay, so I think some of us are not used to being in small spaces. Like, if you're able to be inside a coffin for 24 hours underground, comment down below. Because I know Mr. Beast did it, but I'm telling you one thing, being trapped in a small space is super scary. Especially when it's with your crush for 24 hours. And today's story has a lot of that, but before anything, make sure you guys do join the Kick streams down below. Seriously, I'm streaming on Kick now, and it's super fun and exciting to talk to you guys and tell more crazy stories just like this one. Other than that, let's get straight into this insane story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane, awesome story. So this story takes place back when I was actually, funny enough, in grade 7. Yes, I was actually a young middle schooler, and if you guys don't know, I used to have a crush back in middle school that I basically fell in love with. Basically, I want to say back when I was in grade 7, or actually even in grade 6 as well, there was one girl in my class in my middle school that I basically fell in love with. She was a girl that I majorly just wanted to be with, and I felt like me and her would be the most insane couple ever. I think a lot of us have this feeling when we have a crush or someone that you imagine yourselves with them and thinking it's gonna be the best thing ever, and then it never ends up happening, so you sit in your room depressed playing Call of Duty. Well, that's basically what happened to me, but that's not the point. I remember basically what ended up happening was one time, me and my class, we had a field trip. Now, field trips are usually the good things in middle school or in any school, but I remember this field trip was literally a field trip to the park, and all we had to do was basically go out and stargaze at night. So yes, this field trip wasn't during school hours, which is kind of insane. But I remember basically we all would get like extra points into our report cards if we went. So I remember basically I ended up going up to my parents that day when we got announced for the field trip, and I told them, hey mom, can I please go to this field trip? Like, it's for extra grades and it's really cool. I remember my mom looked at it. She saw that we were basically going to be out super late from basically 9 p.m. to like almost 11:30 at night, which is almost close to midnight. And in grade 7, going out during midnight may be common nowadays, but I had strict parents, so they were no way okay with this. Anyways, I remember basically I kept begging my mom over and over, and as 2 days passed, I remember my mom finally signed the paper saying, fine, you can go. Because either I was going to be up playing video games or I go out and actually do homework, which, I mean, let's be real here, that's a deal breaker for any parent. Anyways, on the day of, I remember basically at school, we were all getting ready to prep our stuff and basically get ready to go and do this field trip later on during the school day. Because basically what we had to do is meet up at the school, pack up everything, and then go over there. I remember as I was packing up my things and getting ready for placing my stuff for the field trip, I remember I looked at my middle school crush and she was beautiful. No joke, I remember she looked at me with her big eyes that she had, and I remember she walked up to me and said, hey Bubba, like, are you excited for this field trip? Oh yeah, 100% is what I told her. And I remember she kept looking at me and basically like talking to me about stuff about stars and stuff, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of ended up toning out her voice and just hearing the glowing sounds coming from around her and how beautiful she was. I know I sound like a simp during the story, but trust me, that was basically me back in middle school. Anyways, going on though, I remember as the school day was about to be over, I remember I was walking with my friend home, and I remember he was explaining to me how basically for some reason my middle school crush was maybe not gonna go to this field trip. I remember when he said, yeah, so like, I don't know, man, I don't think she's probably gonna go to this field trip. I looked over at him and said, wait, why wouldn't she go? She loves the stars. And then he ended up telling me, well, apparently she has like stomach aches or something. I don't know, like, did you not see how many times she has to go to the bathroom? To be honest, I didn't realize it during school day, and honestly I felt bad and I kind of felt sad at the same time, because the whole reason I really wanted to go to this field trip is not really to actually look at the stars when there's one beautiful one right in front of me, aka my middle school crush at the time. But anyways, going on from there, I remember I went home and I was all bummed out basically, and then my mom, her being excited that I'm going out to do homework super late instead of playing video games, came downstairs to my room and said, okay Bubba, you have like 20 minutes, get ready, I'm gonna drive you back to the school. And I was like, okay, and I got all my stuff and I ended up going to school. When I went to school, it was super dark out, and honestly, one thing I realized is that school at nighttime is a lot more scarier than school at daytime, because, well, I don't know, it just looks like a really freaky old mental asylum. But I remember as we all met up in front of the school, we went into our classrooms, we picked up everything we needed, and then we ended up going for the field trip. We went to the park and we started walking around, and right as you know it, out of nowhere, my middle school crush ends up running into the park, seeing all of us, and sits down the circle that we were sitting in. I remember I was super happy in seeing her, and I was like, basically I was getting jitty, I'm not gonna lie, I was freaking out saying, oh my goodness, like, she's actually here, dude. As I'm like grabbing my friend's shoulder telling him like she's here as if she's like the princess of the class. Well, in my mind she was, but going on, I remember basically we were going around placing telescopes down that we had in our classroom, and we were just looking at stars and writing down constellations and stuff. I don't know, I really don't care about the sky, to be honest, because, well, the only thing I would do nowadays is reach for the sky. But other than that, one thing I ended up realizing is that my middle school crush was really having bad stomach aches. And I know my friend mentioned this earlier as we were walking home together, but basically what I started realizing is that she really had to go to the bathroom a lot. Like, it got to the point where like she ended up going more than 4 times and no one knows what was going on with her. So I remember it got to the point where I ended up walking up to her saying, yo, like, is everything good? Me thinking that I could be some sort of way of helping her with her stomach ache, as if I'm like Advil or something. But then she looks at me and says, oh, like, no, I'm okay. It's just my stomach's been hurting recently. I don't know why. And I felt bad, and I kind of just decided to stick with her and be helpful in a way with her homework while she just kept going to the bathroom. And then this is where things get super bad. I remember it was towards the end of the field trip, and it was like 11:30 at night. And basically, I remember I walked up to my crush, and I told her, yo, like, here's your homework. I managed to finish it for you. Are you feeling okay? And right as she looks at me, she goes back straight to the bathroom. At that point, I remember I looked at my teacher. My teacher said to go follow her to make sure she's okay. And I ended up following her to the bathrooms, and I was outside the door while she ran inside and went straight to a toilet, I'm guessing. And me, as I'm sitting outside, I remember all I ended up hearing was, oh my, that hurts. Right at that moment, I'm like, yo, is she good in there? But no one else was around. So me being the dumb grade 7 kid I was, I decided to go inside the bathroom to go check on her. And right as I go inside, I remember I look around and I'm thinking, bro, what is going on? Because all I hear is her making the biggest dump I've ever heard of. Like, no joke, for a girl that I thought was a princess, dude, she definitely did not have a princess down there, bro. Like, it was gross. Okay, I don't know how else to explain it, but it was gross. So I remember I ended up knocking on the stall saying, yo, is everything okay in there? And she like instantly like gets really mad and says, Bubba, what are you doing in here? It's the girls' bathroom. Yeah, but like I thought something was wrong. And right as I say that, that's when the thing that terrifies me the most ended up happening. The lights went out, and basically for some reason I heard a lock happen on the door. At that moment, I remember I ran towards the door, and I heard that no one was around, and basically as I tried to open the door wouldn't open. No matter what, the door was not gonna open. And right at that moment, I go back to the stall and I talk to my crush and I say, yo, so they just locked us in here. Okay, can you turn on the light, is what she says. As I look for a light switch though, I couldn't find one, because you gotta remember, this is like a park bathroom, so like everything's like kind of like built in, I guess, in some way. I have no idea. But I remember I kept telling her to like calm down, don't worry, I'll figure things out. And I'm just looking around thinking what to do. As for my middle school crush, well, she was just making sure she got everything out of her system. So as she's just majorly farting, I'm just sitting in the bathroom in the dark trying to figure out what's going on. And as I'm looking around, like kind of like putting my hands on the bathroom floor to see if there's any way I can maybe like turn on the light or figure out something that's around, kind of just know my surroundings, I ended up finding a lighter on the ground. I found the lighter, and I remember I flicked the lighter on, and there was a little bit of light. My crush noticed it, and she said, oh, like, what is that? And I said it was a lighter I found on the ground, and she's all like, wait, you have a lighter? Do you smoke, Bubba? No, is what I told her. And then afterwards, like after like 10 seconds later, she ended up coming out of the bathroom with the little light we had. I ended up making sure she washed her hands and everything, and one thing led to another. She was sticking right beside me. Don't get me wrong, as much as I love candlelit dinners and having a romantic time, being in the bathroom with my crush was not romantic. I remember me and her, we ended up sitting in there, just sitting down, talking on the floor, and just waiting till someone was able to help us. But then I remember I looked at her and said, I wish there was some way to like actually like communicate to the outside. There's got to be something in here. And right as I say that, this girl decides to pull out her phone that she had. She had an iPhone 4, by the way, at the time. She pulls it out and says, oh, like, I should probably just call my mom. Are you joking? We've been sitting down here for half an hour, like stuck in here, and you're literally now just calling your mom? You had a phone the entire time? I remember I was playing that through my head, but honestly, the only thing I said to her was, oh, that's a good idea. Because I didn't want to make fun of my middle school crush for being how slow she was, I guess, in some way. And then one thing led to another. She ended up calling her mom. Her mom got absolutely mad at the teachers for not realizing that we were stuck in the bathroom. One thing led to another. The teachers came, opened the doors. Parents were really mad, and my mom was really upset because it got to the point where it was almost like 1 in the morning. And being a young kid at 1 in the morning going outside, let's be real here, no one should be doing that. Doing it in the Starbucks bathroom. Now, this honestly was the most weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm so surprised this even happened in the first place. Because as you guys may know, we have a crazy bathroom story series on this channel, and I didn't think this was gonna be part of it, but it seems like it did. And the way this ended up happening was honestly intense, and it was actually hilarious. So make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as well as I am currently live on Twitch. If you guys want to go check that out, go right for it. Links down in the bio. But let's get straight into this crazy story. What is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So today's story, funny enough, takes place back when I was in grade 12. Back in grade 12, this was towards graduation year, and honestly, I remember one time me and my friends were all hanging out in the cafeteria. As we were all sitting around chilling in the cafeteria, I remember a friend of mine walks up to the table saying, yo, bro, like there's like these group of like white chicks just chilling outside. You want to go check them out? Me and my friends, we ended up standing up and going straight to the outside area where they were hanging out. I remember as we got there, we ended up looking around and kind of just looking at them, and they were kind of glancing at us, and knowing there was a group of girls and a group of guys, honestly, everything kind of worked out. Obviously, there was only 4 of the girls though, and there was only only 5 of us. So obviously one of the guys had to get laid back. And by laid back, I mean like, you know, get away because no one likes a 6th wheel that would be. But then I remember that one of my friends walked up to me saying, bro, can you sit out for this one? Can I have a chance? I remember I looked at him and I like kind of like felt bad because like this sounds really rude of me to say, but he was the ugly one in the group. Like you guys cannot deny this. In every friend group, there's always that one ugly person or that one person that never, how do I put this? It's not the most photogenic. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but you know, from my resume of women compared to his, the only thing he had was his mom. So obviously knowing me, I did say to him, yeah, bro, like go for it. Like she looks better for you anyway. And I kind of leaned off. We ended up walking up to the group of girls. And I remember as we walked up to them, the group of girls were kind of like already like choosing who they kind of wanted. Cause even though we had a choice, they also had a choice of who they wanted. And I remember the girl walked up to me and she's like, oh, like, so like, what's your name? And I kind of looked at her. I'm like, oh, this is my buddy. His name is, I'm not going to say what's his name, guys. I don't actually can't say his name legally, but we're just going to call him Gerald. I said, hey, this is Gerald. The girl looks over at me. She's like, okay, but like, what's your name? And me being the awesome wingman I am, I was like, his name is Gerald. Kind of giving her the hint I kind of wanted her to go away from me. Even though I'm not going to lie, she was hot. She looked kind of like weird at me. And then after she looked at Gerald, she's like, hi, Gerald. How are you? And from there, I ended up just walking away. Now, you guys probably think, okay, why would you hand off a girl like that? That's kind of weird. And I agree, it is. But at the same time, you know, like I said, I felt bad for the guy. Anyways, I remember as a group, we all ended up going to the mall together because the mall was like 5 minutes away from our school. But as we were heading there, I remember how much it sucked being a 6th wheel. Like, I'm sorry, if you're being a 6th wheel or even a 3rd wheel or any sort of wheel in general, just leave. I remember I was planning to go get my car and just basically just go straight home. And as I was on my phone, I realized that someone was right behind me that just walked up beside me. And it was the same girl that I introduced to my buddy Gerald. Now, this is where things get really weird because I remember it was me, the girl, and then Gerald on the other side. And Gerald was trying so hard to get close to this girl. And then after that, this girl was getting so hard to get close to me. And me, I was just walking. So I remember I ended up turning to the girl and saying, oh, like, did I tell you, like, Gerald, like, he plays basketball? She looks at me and she's like, oh, so, like, what do you play? She really tried to get my attention. And I know it sounds kind of like, okay, like, you know, why didn't you just, you know, give the girl yourself and just, you know, quit being weird about it? And I'm not gonna lie, I would, but I was already at that state where I was planning on leaving and going home. So, you know, it makes sense. And then eventually throughout the time when we were at the mall, I remember my friend comes over to me and pulls me aside. He says, bro, are you actually like planning on leaving? Because this girl's all over you. It gets me to the point where I think I should just leave instead. And I remember I looked at him. I told him like, bro, like, don't worry. Keep going for her. I'm not going to say anything. Nor am I going to do anything. That's what I initially said. Boy, was I wrong. I remember we ended up all as a group going to Starbucks. And this was like no small Starbucks. Like this was a big Starbucks that was like massive. And I remember as we got there, we ended up looking around and we kind of sat down as a group. We all ordered Starbucks. We all got some food, some snacks, and obviously we ended up getting some drinks. Me, my usual Starbucks drinks is a caramel frappuccino. You guys can laugh at me for it. I think it's pretty cool. Anyways, as we were sitting there, all sitting together, the girl ended up sitting beside me, and me, I got to the point where I just stood up and started walking away. But as I started standing up and walking away, I remember she kind of like looks over to me and walks over to me saying, excuse me, where are you going? And I told her, oh, I'm probably just gonna head home and stuff like that. She's like, can I come with you? And I look at her and I told her like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I'm busy for the rest of the day. Go ahead and ask Gerald. She looks at me again and she's like, well, like, do you have to leave? As she like comes up closer to me and then she starts stroking my leg. Now at that point, I already knew that she was initially in the mood. And I'm sorry, once a girl comes up to you that close and wants to do the devil's tango, you're not gonna just be like, sorry, psych. Like, no, it's obviously not something that's gonna happen. I remember looking at this and Gerald was like looking from afar and kind of seeing the whole thing go down. And he was pissed off already. So at that point, he like got up and just left. And as he left, I remember he went right through the door, which was kind of near us at the time. And I remember the girl looks over and says, oh, looks like Gerald's gone. And we ended up going back and sitting down. Except we weren't sitting down with my friend group again. We were kind of sitting down far away. At that point, my friends were kind of like, you know, not surprised, but weirded out. And they're kind of like winking at me, being all like, ooh, like Bubba's gonna get it. Which is not a surprising thing for them. And one thing led to another. I told her I had to go to the bathroom. So I got up, I started going to the bathroom. And when I did, I ended up just going in there. I sat down on the toilet seat and I remember there was a knock on the door. I remember yelling, occupied. But then I see this piece of paper slip under the door. And it was no normal piece of paper. To be honest, it was one of those sleeves on like a coffee mug they usually put on it. And I remember it said on it, open the door now. I looked all like kind of weird and kind of like freaked out. And I opened the door and I see it was her. She slips into the bathroom, closes the door right away. And then she just instantly hops onto me. Once she did that, I remember me and her, we ended up doing the devil's tango. And we were just in there. I want to say that went on for like a minimum of like 10 minutes. Not even. Like we weren't in there for that long, to be honest. Because what I remember is that my friends would text me saying, yo, bro, like, where'd you go? Like, the girls have to leave. They have a ride home. And I'm like looking at her and she's looking at me and I'm like, you should go. As we're like midway through it. And she's like, oh, like, let me at least like, you know, like come over to your place maybe later tonight. I looked at her and I'm like, to be honest, honest, I'm busy tonight. In reality, I actually wasn't busy. I just had to play Call of Duty that night. And I remember we both left the bathroom, and a Starbucks worker was just kind of like standing on the side, kind of saw us both walking out at the same time. And she looks over and she's like, excuse me, were you guys using the same bathroom? I look at her and I'm like, no. And then after that, the girl's like, no, sorry. And then she just left through the door and went home. And in my head, I'm thinking, she really just left. She really just pumped and dumped. Like, this girl, she just pulled a me. To this day, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of surprised that ever happened. And I remember my friends were outside afterwards as well, kind of being like, yo, where were you? We're looking for you. And I had to explain to them that I basically ditched them and went to the bathroom and ended up doing the devil's tango. And then I remember that wasn't even the worst part, because I think the worst part is that Gerald ended up calling me saying, yo, bro, like the girl that we were talking to, she added me on Snap. I think she actually likes me. And then 10 minutes later goes to say, bro, actually, she wants your Snap. What's your Snap so I can give it to her? Over text. That is crazy. This girl went through Gerald, the guy that I was trying to, you know, introduce her to get my Snap. That's actually hilarious. I don't know. I found that hilarious right after because Gerald was like talking about it all week. But yeah, that is like basically it. Now, before this video starts, I just want to quickly mention that I am feeling a bit under the weather today. So if I do sound, let's just say, more sick, just understand that, you know, I guess from partying all night and going clubs every night this weekend, basically for Easter, it wasn't the best idea. And I did have a crazy Easter story for you guys, but honestly, since Easter did technically already pass, I don't think it's worth saying. But I mean, let's just say if this video does get 1,000 likes, we will probably maybe say it. I don't know. Up to you guys. But other than that, as usual, today's story is gonna be something insane, and honestly, it's kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. But on top of that, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Seriously, we tell crazy stories in here all the time, and honestly, if you guys do want to get in contact with me or even tell me your stories to talk on here, then I will gladly love to do that. Message me on Instagram, join the Discord server, or come join the Twitch streams where we go live and basically tell all these crazy stories live in action. Anyways, guys, let's just get straight into this. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So as you guys can tell from the title, 24 hours in her bathroom. This was not a fun idea. Now, you guys are probably wondering, how in the world did you get stuck in a bathroom for 24 hours? And to be honest, it all starts off back in high school. You see, back when I was in high school, this was my grade 11th year. The grade 11th year was, let's just say, not the best for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't ugly at the time, and you know, once in a while, I won't lie to you, there was a girl that I would sneaky link once in a blue moon, or actually once in a blue moon, maybe like 5 times a month. But going on. Anyways, I remember one time, I was laying in bed in my room, kind of just bored out of my mind. It was during the weekend, and let's just say no one had plans. Obviously, being in grade 11, I guess, I don't know, I was so focused on myself, and it was during like when finals was happening, so I guess a lot of people were just putting their head in the books. But I remember one time, out of nowhere, I think it was like at 3 a.m., a girl messaged me saying, hey, like, do you want to like come over? And yes, before anyone says anything, this was one of my sneaky links. She literally told me to come over because she wanted to do the devil's tango. And honestly, I was all for it. But obviously, for me to go to her place, I would have to sneak in. So I remember I went to my car, I got inside my amazing blue car that I love to this day, the blue Silica, and I drove down to her place. When I got to her place, I parked my car a bit further down the street, so let's just say her parents wouldn't recognize a nice blue sports car in front of their place. And I remember I literally went around and basically she brought me in from the back door. I was in her basement for a bit, kind of just chilling with her and kind of just, you know, doing our thing, or I guess in a sense I should be saying doing the devil's tango. And we went at it for a while. Now, reminder, this was almost at like 3 a.m. when I did this, so we were up probably till like 6 a.m. And when it was 6 a.m., I remember her basement had like one singular bathroom, a bed with like I don't know, a blow-up mattress, I guess, and obviously, you know, just the basic stuff. Funny enough, there's also a TV down there. But I remember when me and her were on that blow-up mattress, we were going at it for a while, like I said. And let's just say when 6 a.m. hit, we heard thunting coming from upstairs. Apparently, it was her father coming down the stairs, and we were in panic. I remember she looked at me saying, oh my God, like, you gotta hide, like, right now. Like, just go to the bathroom. Just go, go, go. And she started pushing me towards the bathroom. And I remember telling her, okay, just make sure you're like, you know, like, you just tell me when the coast's clear. As I went inside the bathroom, it was my first time actually in there, funny enough, because I didn't need to go in there all night until now. And at 6 a.m., I remember she pushed me in there. I was stuck in there. Her parent came downstairs, aka her dad, I should say, and started walking around saying, why are you down here? Why are you down here by yourself? Why are you sleeping in the basement and not in your bedroom? Let's just say he was basically asking her questions of why in the world is she in the damn basement? Which, I mean, I don't blame him. He's not wrong. Like, it's kind of suspicious. And it's not like the basement was like a magical place anyway. But going on, I remember after a while, all I hear is her and her dad go upstairs, and I was left downstairs. Now, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, like, hey, I don't hear anything. I guess I can just leave. I try to open the door, but what I realized was that the door wouldn't open. For some reason, my side of the door, the knob was broken and it wasn't fixed, I guess, in some way. I don't know. It was just a broken door. And I remember I was stuck in that bathroom. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are probably like, oh, why don't you just go on your phone and just call her? You're so unrealistic with these stories. And maybe you're right in a sense, but guys, you gotta remember, this was a basement, and this basement had like concrete walls, I guess. I have no idea. And I'm gonna be honest, it didn't smell the best down there. But the thing is that I had no cell service in that basement. For some reason, my cell service was totally off. Honestly, I blame my parents for giving me a cheap phone plan at the time, but I'm gonna be realistic here. This sucked. I was in a basement, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. My phone wouldn't work. The most I could do is probably go back and, watch some old videos that I have recorded on my phone. But other than that, I was in ultimate lockdown. Luckily, there was food and water down there. I mean, okay, not really food, but water was there. And in terms of food, I'm not gonna lie. There was a plant in the bathroom. It had nice leaves, and I did bite a couple of them. But I remember saving some because I wasn't sure how long I was down there for. Now, you guys are probably wondering, like, oh, like, did the girl ever come downstairs again? Like, what's going on? And no, she didn't. Funny enough, she thought I already left her place. And knowing it was 6 a.m., she also went to school. She literally got dressed, went to school, and since my car wasn't in front of her place, she thought I actually left. Now, you guys are probably wondering, what in the world did I do? Well, what else can you do when you're stuck in a bathroom for 24 hours? You just sit there and wait till someone gets you out. Now, honestly, it sucked, and I was just sitting there the whole time not knowing what I was doing. It got to the point where I wasn't sure if I should even stay quiet anymore and hide in that bathroom because, well, hell, I want to get out of there. But at the same time, if I started screaming and yelling, it was obvious one of her parents were going to find me and I would have been in big trouble. So honestly, at this point, it was, let's just say, the worst of the worst. I sat there, I laid down. I think I took more than 4 naps down there, but I'm not gonna lie, in terms of food, I ended up eating a lot of her plant that was downstairs. And it got to the point where I was like, screw it. Like, I need to get out of here now. Like, I can't be in here anymore. This is so dumb. Now, at this time, when I was contemplating breaking down the door, I won't lie to you, this was like almost like 12 a.m. at night. Late night. I was in there for the whole day. I haven't eaten. Sleeping was harder than it looked. It was just crazy. And to be honest, I had no way to get myself out. I didn't know what my parents were thinking. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they reported me missing, for God's sake. So I remember I ended up actually saying, screw it. I'm breaking the door down. And the door was just an old wooden door. It wasn't like that good of a door, to be honest. It wasn't like steel or anything. But I remember I literally got my foot and I kicked the door down as if I was in the FBI SWAT team. Now, you guys are probably thinking like, oh, there's no way your foot can just do that. And I won't lie. There's many times where I actually ran like into the door with my shoulder. But hearing that loud thud over and over downstairs, I guess someone heard me from upstairs because right after I broke through that door, I hear 2 footsteps coming down the stairs. It wasn't one person, it was 2. And one of them was the chick that I was doing the devil's tango with and her dad. Her dad in a bathroom robe. I remember her dad looked at me and I remember she looked at me all freaked out saying, "You're still here?" And I remember when her dad heard her say that, her dad looked at her, looked at me and said, "Still?" Oh boy. This was really bad because I remember her dad sat me down on the couch downstairs and said, "You were in my bathroom for how long?" And I had to mention the whole story to him and basically apologize for, well, not only, doing the devil's tango with her daughter, but at the same time, I guess being locked in their house for 24 hours. I'm not gonna lie, the dad was more upset with the girl than me because, well, hell, I was in their bathroom for 24 hours. It sucked. But if I'm being honest, just make sure you guys fix your doors. Just please. I'm sick of doors not working. I love bathrooms, but I don't love them that much. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for the story. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Seriously, it was really fun telling you guys this one, and honestly, be careful in crazy situations. And like I always say, fall for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.